Well, welcome to Entrepreneurs Toastmasters. Our inspirational moment for today. But online. So something that I learned about speaking to another entrepreneur is a lot of time, there are several times that we focus on the 5% that may not be going right instead of the 95% that is going right. So this week, take time to focus on and to remember the 95% that is going well with your business, with your family, and with your life. Although that 5% is there and it could be difficult, when you focus on the 95%, you can continue through. We've done the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Our Toastmaster mission. Mr. Bon Wang, can you please read our Toastmaster mission, sir? It's on the PowerPoint.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Toastmasters Club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you so much, Bon. Members, as you reflect today and every day, is your communication developing? Do you have greater self-confidence? Are you growing personally? Our announcements for this week. We have club sponsor mentor training today. Today is the last day. Oh, it says the 24th is actually today. Today is the last day for the incentive for club officers trained. So if you are in another club and your officers aren't trained, please get them trained by tonight. Call the area director, division director, myself, or someone to get yourself trained so that your club can receive the incentive. Canva training is on the 24th. Area A speech contest is this Saturday, and Club Coaches Corner is also here. We have an executive meeting today. Looks almost like we're in one now. And I wanted anyone, if you wanted to share in the chat, if you had an outside speaking opportunity, or if you know of any workshops that are taking place in the next couple of weeks. Any other entrepreneur workshops, please share them in the chat. Happy birthday to all members that are born in February, and happy anniversaries to anyone who has a business that began in February. Any businesses began in February? If you haven't read my Facebook post yesterday was my 4-year anniversary in Toastmasters. So I'm super excited. Love the month of February. February 20th was the day I walked into a Toastmaster meeting and filled out an application and joined. In Toastmasters, we always have table topics, and this is how table topics works. I'm sure most of us online know this already, as most members are continuing to join. And this is how our Entrepreneurs Club is advanced and stands out. We have pathway speeches. This is the third Wednesday, so it's our brainstorming session when we bring business challenges and then brainstorm. To all guests, please stay on after if you have any questions. And now it's time for our educational moment. We have an Entrepreneur's Educational Moment every time we join with Charles Radney. Charles, can you please come to the virtual lectern while we give you a warm round of applause as we hear the educational moment? Charles.
Good morning, everyone. All of us have been taught over the years not to ask, when we're interacting with an audience, not to ask how many people, but to ask who. We're trying to find out who's been involved or exposed to a particular item, to ask who, not how many. I was recently listening to a tape from actually from Craig Ballantyne, who was one of the past world champion speakers, and he added a different level to it. He added a level that all of us can relate to. He says, when you're asking someone, instead of asking who has had a speech that they didn't like, to ask how many of you have ever had a speech that you wish you could take back? Because all of us at some point had a speech that we wish we could take back. Apply that concept, not who, not how many, but have you ever? Because when you put that ever into it, you take people to a whole different realm. Back to you, Dr. Jones.
Thank you very much. And now it is with great pleasure that I have the opportunity to introduce our Toastmaster for the day. Our Toastmaster for the day is not only a past district governor, a DTM in the Pathways program, but also a DTM in what we call the Legacy program. Madam Roz Carter is a mother. She is a mentor to many, including myself, as we mentor one another. And she's our VPE. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to Toastmasters. She has a blog, podcast with her daughter. Toastmasters, please join me in giving a warm round of applause to our Toastmaster of the day, my friend, Madam Rosalind Carter. Roz?
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Madam President, Dr. Valencia Jones. Yes, it's an honor to be Toastmaster of the Day. I believe every member in this club has served or are anxious to serve as Toastmaster of the Day. It's like the MC of a program where you introduce people and get them engaged before the speaker arrives. So what we have today is a theme called collaborate. Do you know what collaborate means? It doesn't mean shoving two people together and say, talk, do something together. It's a joint effort with people who are, like we say in this club, like-minded. They have an interest in the same thing, in achieving the same goal. And collaborate, there's actually four types of collaboration. There's team collaboration, community collaboration, network collaboration, and cloud collaboration. We'll discover some of these types of collaboration throughout this meeting, but let me first say that Toastmasters has a path called team collaboration, which I just completed. And oh boy, did it open up a whole new world of meeting with others, finding things that we like, finding people that we get along with. And if we don't, by the end of that collaboration, you will get along, you will enjoy working with each other. And team collaboration is what we do in Toastmasters a lot. You see how we're together for this Zoom meeting? We are collaborating on the purpose of today's meeting. And somehow, by the end of the meeting, we will have learned something new, like from our speaker, Kama Burton, from any guests that attend, from table topics, and all the efforts that are put together by each of you. Somewhere along the line, we discover we have similar goals. And somewhere along the line, There's going to be an opportunity for you to work on a project together, like my daughter Taya and I. We are collaborating on a podcast, and we hope for those of you who are listeners have learned a lot from what we put forth as a goal to enlighten the world and the audience that listens about adoption and reunion, but with a twist. So here we are today. What is today? February 21st. The month is almost over. And our speaker has an extensive background. But let me say that she is the owner of CMB Realty. She will tell us about it, perhaps in her speech. But she's also got a nonprofit called Loving Me First and Girls Club. She's a speaker, a trainer, and she makes real estate a reality for many people who are first-time buyers. She's an adjunct professor at Moreno Valley College, and we know her through Toastmasters, but we will get to know her when she enlightens us in her speech. Kama, please, before you start, give us the title of your speech, and then I believe it's 5 to 7 minutes, right? And then we will open it up to everyone to brainstorm and ask questions and see how we could help her with her business challenge that she may present. Please give a warm welcome to our newest member, Get Focused, Kama Burton.
Thank
Roz,
you.
speak
I
again,
see
Frank.
Frankie's hand was up. I didn't want to go until
Say that again?
Frankie
I
is up.
just wanted to verify, is it 5 to 7? Because the agenda says 5 minutes. So if it's 5 to 7, I need to change the timer.
Yes, 5 to 7.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for just allowing me to be here. This is my first speech here. I am really excited. Have not done a speech for Toastmasters at all for the last few years, actually, but I'm excited to be here. My title is Get Focused. In 2023, the real estate industry found itself in a space that we hadn't been in for a while. We found ourselves at a time where interest rates were on the rise, peaking out at 8%. Buyers on the fence trying to decide if it's the time to purchase. The reason being is because we have access to so much now, more than ever, such as social media. Everything is at the palm of our hands. Any questions we may have, we can Google it. People are using Siri if they want to turn on TVs and lights and things like that. People are getting all of their fake news from social media. So it has caused a lot of buyers to decide if real estate is what they want to get into because they're expecting this grand fall to happen. We have sellers that are on the fence because they're told that either their house is going to plummet, just hold on to it, or possibly some of them believe that they're still going to get the $50,000, $75,000 to $100,000 more like they did 2 years ago when interest rates were at an all-time low. We have sellers that are on the fence trying to decide if selling is what they want to do because they also have this low interest rate that they'll probably never see in their lifetime. And they have to make a decision, is it worth me selling or worth me keeping? It's caused all types of challenges in our industry because as realtors, full-time realtors and brokers, this is our bread and butter. Research showed that in 2023, more than 60% of realtors only closed one deal. And I pause and I think about that because there's so many people that believe that just because a person sells real estate, they're rich. I hear it all the time. Oh, you have money, you're okay. The average realtor makes $60,000 a year. That's the average. We have things like selling Sunset, selling Orange County, selling New York, selling whatever it is that people are selling these days, but they're not telling the truth of what we deal with every single day. In 2022, my business at my brokerage, I did a business planning session. I do it every single year. And within this particular session, I was so gung-ho about how great 2023 was going to be. I didn't care about what challenges that were going to come our way. My goal and my focus was how to help my agents make their real estate dreams reality. They took one of the hardest tests in their lives. They push through that test. And I tell anybody, if you're going to get in real estate and you can get through that test, you better sell real estate like it's the last thing. It's the last thing on earth, because it's not easy. But when people get on the other side of their license, they find that they have to work. Those selling Sunsets and selling Orange County, people selling these high-rise buildings and multi-million-dollar property, it's not everybody's reality. So going into 2023, we were so gung-ho about how great real estate was going to be. I didn't even make goals for myself to sell real estate because my goal was to help, again, my real estate agents make their real estate dreams a reality. We started off the year okay. We had 2 of our agents close a deal. I had a couple of deals going, closed those deals. And by the end of March, our whole life changed. Everything dried up. There were no buyers for our office, no sellers for our office. And I thank God for my additional income, because if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would be sitting here still on my own time today. But one thing that I find is that being resilient and pushing through no matter what happens, that's where you will succeed. We have to fail in life. We really have to fail in life. However, we have to find those things in life that will help us push forward and push through. For about 2.5 to 3 months, I dealt with a lot of emotional issues. I cried, I was frustrated, I was angry. Then I started doing more trainings in my office. I would reach out to my agents, asking them, what can I do to help them? I started an accountability sheet where I made sure that everyone put something on the sheet every week, letting us know their wins, their failures, who they met, who they talked to, what appointments they have. I was excited about it. And after about week 3, there was nothing on the sheet. I'm wondering what is going on with my agents. I found out that they began to get caught up in what other people were saying. I heard Les Brown, he says that other people's opinion of us is none of our business. But what I found was that people were taking other people's thoughts about how bad the real estate industry was and how bad things are going to be and how they need to just go find a what they call a regular job and get out the industry. And many of my agents did that. It became a challenge. So by the end of 2023, my goal was to get focused. Forget the noise. Forget what everybody says. Forget what social media says. But I had to understand what was our truth. Our truth was this: we didn't get into this real estate industry just because. We didn't get into this real estate industry to give up. So we had to get focused. So how did we do that? By changing our mindsets. So focused is a word that it's an acronym. We have faith. We're going to find opportunities. We're going to be consistent. We know that we're unstoppable. We're going to support others and allow others to support us. We're going to stay educated and excel in everything that we do through the determination that we have that's within us. Those are the things that's not going to allow 2023 to happen again and repeat itself in our lives. And we are going to continue to stay focused. Thank you.
Wow, let's everyone give Kama a round of applause for her speech. And as she said, her first speech with this Toastmasters Club. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us a window of opportunity to hear what it's like to be a realtor and what you do as an owner. Now let's open it up for 9 to 10 minutes and allow our members to ask questions, to perhaps help learn a little bit more about Kama and her business challenge. Can I start with you, Charles? Do you have any questions?
I don't know that I would necessarily say it's a question. First, Kama, let me commend you on sticking it out. I've been licensed for the last 20 years, so I understand that business so well. And I agree with you that if you're going to pass the test, you need to do something with the license. From the standpoint of dealing with your agents and their challenges and struggles, listening to the way that you're approaching it, I would say is a very commendable way. My son, David Radney, is a real estate coach and a photographer. And listening to some of the things that he puts out on YouTube and other sources, getting back into your people's heads and making them understand it's about them, not about the rest of the world and what they're hearing, I think was the right approach. The other thing, in listening to your presentation, it makes me think back to a conversation I had very recently with a gentleman who's been at our club a couple of times, my friend Carl Guillaume. And Carl is a fitness coach. And one of his clients was trying to persuade Carl into getting into the real estate business. And my statement to Carl was, follow your passion. If you put the additional time into your business that the person's going to ask you to put into his, you're going to make your business grow, number one. And number two, is the person who's recruiting you doing the real estate business full-time, or is it a part-time thing for him? And if it's a part-time thing for him, understand that you can't go in there thinking you're going to get rich quick, which is the picture that was being presented to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thanks, Charles. You know, I was one of those people who thought realtors are rich, Kama.
Wish.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny how you imagine things and you put people in categories, but their collaboration efforts as agents helps that company grow as well. Nez, would you like to ask a question to Kama or have her perhaps elaborate a little bit more about her business and her challenge?
Oh, I like what she made an acronym for focused, and I'm trying to write it down. I missed letter F.
Sure, faith.
Oh, faith. And letter
Yes.
C
Consistency.
and letter S.
Support. And that means support others and allow others to support you. And I will just say, for me, I didn't take in support from others, but I would always be a support to other people. I never want to be a burden or feel like I wasn't adequate or whatever things that were running through my mind. So the goal is to allow and be more open to get support from others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
I find it inspiring because I'm going through some difficulties also at work, and having this kind of focus would help me to especially support. It's not only about me, it's also about helping others. And that's what I get from what you said. Thank you.
Very good, Nez. Good summary. Thank you so much. Rosabelle, do you have a question or comment for Kama?
Oh, yes, well, it's quite a challenge to be in real estate any year, whether it's a bubble or a bear market or a burst. It seems that it's impossible to predict, and you have to be a leader and at the same time, as you say, pay attention and focus to your team and what the challenges are so that you can lead them properly. I think the best approach is what you've said, and if there is a challenge for us to contribute, I would just say, don't forget about yourself. You're a leader and you're there to, as you say, to help and not necessarily ask for help. But I would recommend, don't forget about yourself. It's a very stressful, it's a very stressful business. And I think maybe most of the realtors I know have a side business or it's a day job, as they say, because it's difficult to be completely a realtor without having any kind of certainty or a bedrock to fall on. And I don't know if you have a day job, as they say, but having something solid to hang on to and some support for yourself to look to when you need some kind of uplifting. Thank you for that very nice speech. Thank you, Kama.
Thank you. Yeah, real estate is my full-time job. I do some things part-time, but real estate is what pays the bills.
Mm-hmm. Very
I commend you
good.
on that.
Yes, yes.
Raj,
Charles, I see your hand is up again.
I was going to make the comment, and here again supporting Kama as real estate being her full-time business, because the real estate business is moving so fast that if you're not dedicating yourself to it on a full-time basis, you are going to lose because you're not going to be up to date on all the little nuances. The people who think they can do real estate part-time are not going to really get what they really want out of it because it's not a part-time business.
Yeah, that's true. Correct, Kama?
Yeah, and so for me, I'm very active in my real estate business. I was president of our association in 2022. I'm a director for our state and national. I do a lot of travel. Usually if I'm not on here because I'm traveling, whether it's for leadership, which we didn't meet last week, but we were in Monterey for business meetings. So you're absolutely right. This is a business. You have to stay connected. You have to know what's happening in the business. You have to read. You have to be able to push through a lot of the challenges that we are facing. And Roz, you said it's so great when you're talking about the collaboration. I was on a call yesterday and there was a lady who said, she said, I meet with these realtors literally every morning at 6 o'clock. It's on this, what we call vitamin call. We just encourage each other, to go throughout the day. But the lady made a comment and she says, I'm in a deal with this person. And she was like, I'm not here to make friends with this other agent. I'm here to help my client. And I said, well, that's the wrong attitude because we need each other because the clients will come and go, even though I always stay in contact with my clients, but it's us that's going to see each other in the field. It's us
Yeah.
that's going to educate each other and keep pushing each other forward. And that's what keeps that's what fuels my fire and keeps me going despite of, whatever the market looks like.
Exactly. And Taya, do you want to add a comment to help Kama with either collaboration or business and challenges of owning your own business?
Wow, I hadn't thought of it actually in that context. Actually, I had a question. I was going to raise my hand and
Yeah,
I'd rather
go
lead
ahead.
with that question. There was
Okay.
a comment that you made, Kama, about you had to, when you decided to get focused, you had to forget the noise. And the question I had is, could you elaborate on maybe more tangible things that you did to forget the noise? Because I feel like My head is kind of noisy right now.
It is always noisy. Some of the things that I've done is I started getting more focused back on reading. So I started reading more. I find time for myself. I do a lot of meditation now, going through, with everything that's happening. Literally yesterday, I had to stop everything I was doing and just literally turn my timer on for 5 minutes, close my eyes, and just
Oh,
focus. And that
yeah.
really, really helped me to center myself. So those are things that I've been doing. And then also just thinking about the reality of our business and who we are and what I am here to do. I am here to serve. I am not here just to grab the money. I tell people the money just comes with it. So I just started reimagining myself. And the other thing I did was I completed a business plan and I followed the business plan.
Oh, that's wonderful. And did you already know how to do a business plan, for your business? Or did you pick up on that as an entrepreneur or maybe as was mentioned in this club?
Absolutely picked it up. I've been in real estate for 19 years, and not once did I have a broker show me how to sit down with me to do a business plan. I heard
Mm.
another agent talk about their brokerage, and they were like, "Yeah, we do a business plan." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what does that look like?" So long story short, a friend of mine who had a brokerage who was helping me when I opened my own brokerage 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago, she actually gave me the business plan that she used. So now I use that in my business, and then I add a couple of things in there to go very detailed into that plan. Because it's one thing to write it out, but it's another thing to actually go into detail of how are you now going to accomplish those goals so that way those goals are achieved. So that has helped me already, and I'm already on track to do way better than what I did last year. And deals are already closing for me. I have things going, and my business plan it's in motion. I'm going to definitely do much more than I even targeted. I'm on track to close half of the deals that I want to close before the first quarter of my original goal.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Yay.
I got
Everybody give.
focused.
Yes, she is focused. And everything you've said today in your presentation and the comments from our members, I'm sure was very helpful for you. So please send additional comments if you'd like to Kama in the chat box. We want to make sure that we cover everything. And then towards the end of the meeting, if there's any additional things you'd like to share or say, then we'll take it over. This is what we do in our meetings. We allow members to elaborate, to collaborate, and to make sure that what we came here for, we've learned something and we have a takeaway for that. So at this time, usually our meetings have 2 speakers, and we did not have any of you enthusiastic entrepreneurs sign up. So if you don't mind, I am working on my path in Pathways, and there's one more speech I need to give for level 2. And we know if you're following the Distinguished Club program, we need some level 2s and level 1s. So everyone out there, if you are working on a project, would like to give additional speeches, please sign up for future meetings. And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about communication style, which is one of my projects. So, Madam Timer, if you could time me for 5 minutes, and everyone can just put their comments or evaluation tips in the chat box, so we do not need to take additional minutes on evaluations. I certainly would appreciate it. My speech is basically about communication style, and we all have it. We have a different style. But did you know that Toastmasters likes to define communication style, because communication is what we do in Toastmasters besides leadership. So the assessment tool that was provided in this project for any of you who has dipped into the project called Communication Style, you'll see that it leads you into asking you a few questions and then telling you what kind of style you may have in communication. And so the style that popped up for me is direct. Now there's direct, there's initiating, there's supportive, and analytical. Raise your hand if you think you're an analytical communicator. Analytical means cautious, you're deliberate and methodical, you're a problem solver, and you're very careful about what you say. Okay, I see one hand up. Thank you, April. Now, the other one is supportive. Supportive means you're patient, cooperative, sympathetic, and an active listener. You're calm and you're steady with communicating your message. How many of you think you are a supportive communicator? Oh, wow. I see. Perhaps because of your profession or your upbringing, you are that supportive communicator. Now, the other one is initiating. Oh my goodness, this person is sociable, enthusiastic, they're all over the place, and they perhaps talk more than they listen. Which one of you are an initiating communicator? Okay. All right, I see you, Rosabelle. And direct. That's the one that I had the most points for answering the questions in the assessment. And you might want to take that project on and see how you pan out with your point system. The direct communicator is results oriented. They're focused. They're even competitive to a certain extent. And they're quick, decisive, and busy, efficient environment is what they thrive on. Well, you know, when I was working, I would label that as my communication style. But since I've been retired, I'm not sure why that one popped up for me. Yeah, I might be more direct. I might be more focused and, you know, encouraging in a busy, efficient environment. But I'm laid back now in retirement age. So how direct can I be in this club, taking on the position of Vice President of Education to get people to sign up to be a speaker, table topics master, Toastmaster? Wouldn't you like to not be the person who has to ask or almost beg you to do something? Wouldn't you like to be, yes, I can, yes, I will? It's amazing how direct we can be in our communication. How do we respond to others? Making sure that they understand where we're coming from. Be a good listener. A direct person is an active listener, not someone who talks more than listens. Because somebody needs to listen to what you have to say. Make sure you have the intent to support someone, to listen to them, and then perhaps offer some advice that they might need or even ask for. Communication styles are different. Choose one and live through it, and be a supportive, collaborative member of your team. Now, that concludes my presentation. I would love to get your comments in the chat box. And perhaps I'll pick one of you to send the evaluation form so that we could make it official. Now, back to the agenda. We have someone here I just adore. I adore her tremendously because she makes life look like fun. Do you know who I'm talking about? Our table topics master, April Gillis. She makes everything look like fun. And why? Because she's a fun-loving person and she wants you to engage and even collaborate to a certain extent on fun activities. Her activities today are in the form of table topics, questions. Please give a warm welcome to our table topics master, April Gillis.
Good morning. Good morning. I love it. I am fun. I'm also analytical, so the analytical side is always going. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for your speech this morning. Thank you for the business challenge that was presented. And excuse my voice. So I will do my best to overcome today. In the spirit of collaboration, my questions will be a reflection of our experiences with collaboration. So put your thinking caps on, and I want each of you to think about the questions as they're being asked. Even if I don't call on you, please reflect for yourself so that you have an opportunity as well to consider how would you answer, or as our educational moment shared through Mr. Charles Rodney shared this morning, have you ever? So my first question this morning, what is your most memorable team collaboration experience? What is your most memorable team collaboration experience? I'd like to call on Mr. Bond-Wang.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I'm glad you asked me this question. I would like to reflect a part of history on this club. This club is still going strong, but we have certain period of time where I had a little bit stronger emotion. Also, I want to generate some resonance among our members. If I talk about my career, might not be so much reflective. So this is the period when we chartered this club. That period of time, I just, if I recall, I saw a lot of chemistry, a lot of collaborative efforts. We have a member in the team who was very interpersonal. For example, Raz, that moment, was leading the team. Raz really is such a communicative person to reach out to the members personally. We have some members who are on the ground and maybe direct to go with some very basic work. And we have some members, Charles Radney, for example, to set up the vision for the team. And I think that's what I understand the ideal circumstance of the collaborative efforts. We know what we are doing. We go all the different directions. We don't have much overlapping. Like the whole team is more interpersonal and get away from the groundwork. Like Raz just mentioned, you are talking more than you are listening. We really don't have that much overlapping. So people always go through the different direction of the work. So that's a typical circumstance, in my opinion, about the collaborative efforts. I really enjoy that part of work, and our club still going strong. But that moment really reminds me time by time about the collaborative efforts. Thank you. Back to April.
Thank you so much for your answer to that question. I remember when I received the interest form about this club chartering, and I remember thinking, I don't have time, but I'll sign up for a member to make sure it charters. When I came to the first meeting, I made time. I remember feeling the excitement, seeing the team excitement. And from that point forward, I made it a priority to be here. Sometimes we make the sacrifice because we know the value. And here we are today, still going strong. So thank you, Mr. Bon Wang, for sharing the excitement of that initial collaboration that is still carrying us through today. So thank you. My next question. Have you ever led a team that was resistant to collaboration? How did you overcome? Tell us about the victory. This particular question goes to someone who I've heard many of stories of her trials turned to triumph, of tough situations turned to victory, and her tenacity and creative problem solving that has come to life-changing experiences, such as her international art gallery that she has been able to bring through challenge, both domestic and abroad. So for those of you who don't know, I would like to ask this question about telling us how you led your team to overcome resistance by our own MD, Dr. Rosabelle Young.
Thank you, April, for that challenging question. I think that we're all always facing challenges, and when there is any adversity from the outside or from within in a team, the best thing is to find ways for the team members to collaborate through their individual goals. My art gallery and my current medical practice and my orange grove are fairly stable now, but in the past, probably the biggest challenge I've had was when I was in a certain downtown, South Central LA hospital, where adversity was extreme, I would say. And I was in charge of the hospital having lost its certification. The neuro department had antiquated equipment, EMG, EEG machines, cardiology also. The good doctors had left. And it was quite a challenge that the people there were essentially sabotaging each other. I sat down with each individual to decide who I wanted to keep and who might be not, there were a couple of hopeless ones. And in that environment, it was extreme, the criminal activity and so on, stealing from the hospital equipment and everything. But I found a core team among, several dozen. I found a core team of strong individuals. And one thing I noticed was what comes from Roz's speech, communication skills. It's a communication type. It's not necessarily what type you are, but also realizing that you need the other types. There are some of the psychology journals and teachings that have 7 types, but the 4 that Roz summarized are in Toastmasters, and they're a good summary. Seek for the 4 different types, and then you'll understand what is in it for them. And you need all 4 types on your team. If you're an analytical, just get analyticals because they think and act like you. Get a director, get an upstart, scatterbrain like and get the other time to collaborate. Thank you. Thank you. Great question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roosevelt. I knew you would not disappoint in making sure we heard your words of wisdom and your ability to show us not to run away from the challenge, but to rise to the occasion and how to overcome, like you've done so many times in your career. Again, thank you for sharing. My next question: what skills do you bring to the table as a strength when you partner with other people? Sometimes we may be aware of our weaknesses, but it's important to know your strengths. I know I'm an encourager and I love to take notes. It's a skill I look for to bring to the table. So again, my question to you: what skill or skills do you bring to the table when you partner with other people? Taya, would you answer that for us?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Yes, so I would say the primary skill that I lean into when I collaborate with others is active listening. To be able to hear the story of a person and to ask several open-ended questions of them, to have them, in a sense, kind of dig deep so that they themselves kind of discover their own response or their own answer. So active listening largely is being able to listen to someone without necessarily having my response ready, but more or less to paraphrase and bring back to them what I heard, so that as they hear themselves talk and me repeat back what I hear, they develop clarification and understanding of themselves. And so that, I would say, is a primary skill that I bring when collaborating with someone. And so then I'm able to tie in what they have expressed and present a summary back to them, so that then from there, hopefully, they can lead with their choice. Thank you again.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom on active listening. This last question will be for Nez. What is an area of opportunity where collaboration and partnership strengthens you? What is an area of opportunity where collaboration or partnership strengthens you?
Thank you for that question, Madam Toastmaster. I believe the opportunity to become a leader was great on my college days, and it helps me bring my classmates and team members together for achieving our excuse me, I am working while and there's a phone call I have to cancel. Can you repeat the question? I was distracted. Sorry.
It's okay. What is an area of opportunity where collaboration or partnership strengthens you?
Okay. When I was in college, we have this drum theater arts, and going together to perform a fantasy like presentation in the stage gave me an opportunity to become a leader. And having this opportunity brings the class together, and the success of the film was so great that it strengthened me as a person to become as a teacher. I learned that being a leader in a group like that where everybody cooperates made me realize that I can indeed be a good leader. And at the same time, I learned my path as a teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you for sharing. And we're all entrepreneurs and we all have competing priorities. So we understand and appreciate you here today. I would like to now return conduct to our Toastmaster of the day to stay on schedule. Madam, 3-time distinguished Toastmaster, Rosalind Carter.
Thank you so much, April. Please give her a round of applause for outstanding questions that promoted the members who responded to her questions to give their very best insight into what she was asking of them. And that's what Table Topics is about. It's impromptu speaking based on a question that the Table Topics master asked of us. And then what did we put together in our mind how we want to respond to that question? Great questions, April. Thank you so much. Now, the other parts of collaboration. We talked about team collaboration. What about community collaboration? You know how the chambers of commerce might have a joint meeting or something to work on a project together, giving their own input, but working together with another group of people. That's community collaboration. And network collaboration is nearly the same thing. Networking is what we all like to do. Okay, I hear a little background sound. I'm not sure who that's coming from, but if you could mute yourself. The opportunity to network and collaborate means that you're going to take in what other people are saying. You may not agree with it, but you will work together for the common goal. And that's what networking is and cloud collaboration. Anybody want to take a guess on cloud collaboration? Charles?
I would think in this era of Zoom, the cloud collaboration would be based on us being online, us dealing with people on the internet, and reaching out to a group of people who are not necessarily looking or sitting down with face to face.
Exactly. Yes, the cloud where we push huge projects, something that just takes too much time to download. So we put it in the cloud, and then we have people take a peek or go into the cloud to retrieve that information and then collaborate on responses and how you want to handle that project. So collaboration comes in all kinds of ways. And I believe that in order to be effective communicators, we need to know when to speak up, when to be silent, and when to ask questions, and be that active listener, be that collaborator to go into the cloud or the networking or the community or the team to say, what can we do to achieve the goal that we set out to do when we work on this project? And so this project, the Toastmasters Entrepreneur Club, we've come together, we've collaborated, we've decided that we want to have meetings focused on just pathways or just business challenges or just mastermind. We've decided that this is how we're going to collaborate and make this club more effective than the average Toastmasters Club, and we're doing pretty well with that. The evaluation of this meeting is basically this. Everyone that I see on my screen has participated, except our recent guest, and we'll ask him what he might think. But it's like as if someone is telling us, you should be there. If you build it, they will come. We come together for an exciting meeting to learn from. Kama's speech gave us the insight on what it's like to own real estate and be supportive of your team. Be supportive of the agents and the work. And this is her full-time job. She knows what she wants to do. She knows what she needs to do. And she explained it very clearly to all of us so that we could see what it's like on the other side of being a realtor. And should we decide to choose that level of work, that entrepreneurship, she's the go-to person. She's the one that's going to support us and make it effective and successful if we choose that line of work. And that myth that, realtors are rich, she spoke the truth, because I admit it, I'm one of those who thinks or thought that real estate people have so much money, right? It's like they are swimming in the dollars and buying and selling homes and just all over the community. But we know that it's not entirely true. But with the successful mindset of a realtor, it could be. It could be that dream that comes true for those who seek that. And the table topics that April presented to our members, it elicited the things that, well, now I have to think about what I want to do and what I will do for the betterment of myself and for others. Because April asked those specific questions to bring out the best by those who answered. Our president, Dr. Valencia Jones, knows that we have an engaging club. And right now we are asking members, would you like to represent this club in the upcoming speech contest? I think that because we did not have a club contest, each of you should be asked, will you represent the club? Will you give a speech or respond to table topics as you do in this club at the area level and be in a competitive environment so that we could say Entrepreneur Club members support the contest theme and working with the district to help members get further along in their endeavors. So think about that. Please respond in the chat or contact Dr. Valencia if you'd like to be a contestant for table topics or the international speech. Table topics is 2 to 3 minutes, or 1 to 2 minutes, I should say. And international speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Think about it. Think about it and represent Toastmasters in this entrepreneur club at the contest level. The date for the contest, I believe it's March 9th. Dr. Valencia, is that correct? We are in area C4.
Yes.
Yes. So be prepared to speak.
Wait, hold on.
And it's not, is it in person?
The
or hybrid?
16th. It's the 16th.
Or is it hybrid or in person?
Hybrid, all meetings, the DC elected all meetings to be hybrid.
Okay, so you could appear in person. And I believe the in-person effect, appeals to some members. So if you want to compete in person, it is in what city? Riverside?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Frankie. When we get all the details of the location for those who want to be in person, or the Zoom link if you want to be online, I think that it's, ooh, comma, you'd love to. Okay. That's one of our contestants for one of the contests. So we'll get back to you. And thank
Yay.
you for wanting to represent.
Well, no, I was saying I would have loved to. I have a speaking engagement that day, but I'll look at the time. And if it works, then I will, once I get the information, I'll let you know for sure.
Okay, so we'll get that information. And like Bon is saying in the chat box, it's probably in Riverside because Division C and all the areas and clubs in Division C migrate to the Riverside area for activities. So here we are at the conclusion of the meeting. I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me to be your Toastmaster of the day. I will now return control of the meeting to our president, Dr. Valencia Jones.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Can we please give Rosalind Carter, our VP, DTM, and past district governor a warm round of applause and a congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.